All right, Chrissy here from popculturemadness.com and concertblogger.com. And could you introduce yourself, although I don't think you need much of an introduction to our site visitors.
Phil Anselmo here. Nice to be here.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to speak with me. And I got to talk about this amazing new album. I mean, it's brutal. It's ferocious. It's topping the charts now. How do you feel about the feedback? It's been amazing.
Oh, it's obviously a good feeling. You're the first one to say that it's topping any charts or anything, but it's getting better and better every night. People are starting to know the songs, know the words. It's a growing process thing. We'll see where it goes. We'll see how it ends up.
I love some of the snarkiness, within it. It's just freaking awesome, and it was hysterical. It's been on rotation in my car since it came in, and it's just, how much of that, are people really picking up on some of that commentary?
I think if you're gonna pick up on the lyrics at all, then I would hope, that you pick up on some of the snide side of my sense of humor. Some say absurd, but it's a different expression, in a way for me. Most people view me as a dead serious guy, but really I'm full of shit. I thrive on the absurd. I like to keep things light. When you're in a working environment, whether you're in the studio or on the road, things can get fucking dragged down. Not everybody wakes up on the same or the correct side of the bunk, so to speak, every day. So you got to keep things cool and stupid at times, even, just to keep everybody grinning, so it's part of the job.
Well, I'm sure that's important. It's got to keep it interesting for you, too.
Fuck yeah, definitely. The rest of my guys are equally as full of shit as I am, so good bunch.
So, with your music being so raw and so honest, and then even allowing people to see that sense of humor come out, is that, hard for you to put so much of yourself out there?
I guess at the end of the day, it can be draining, but I think that's what you really should do. Be nice to fucking people, and be nice to the people that support you, and be nice to other bands and whatnot. It's called good karma. Putting out good vibes and whether you get paid back or whatever, that's human life has got a lot of ups, downs. We all know that, and then the unforeseen. So it's got to roll with it, man. Every day, put one foot in front of the fucking other and do something productive and hopefully positive.
So I've heard it described a lot of times, when, you're in the moment of writing a song and you've got this aggression going on or these feelings and thoughts, and then, you record it and it becomes a song, and then each time that you're performing it, it's almost like reliving those emotions. Do you ever find that it's like that?
Sometimes, sure. Sometimes, depends on the topic, and then, a lot of the songs, if you take, for instance, like Bedroom Destroyer and Bedridden, which go hand in hand off Walk Through Exits Only, it's like, I'm not in bed, and I'm not, frustrated with myself because I'm not doing a fucking goddamn thing about a million things that I actually have to fucking do. That's, I guess, when you hope that the audience can cue in or zero in on a bit of the flagrant humor on the record. So as far as living the moment and shit like that, it's show to show, song to song, always a bit of a big case of what if, and what could be, because I've said this a million times, but I want every show to have its own identity, and I want any one show to be exact. So spontaneity is imperative.
Absolutely. So, with the recording process, I know that, this was recorded over the course, was it 3 years or more, in different parts. Like, what led to your decision that now is like the right time to come out with it?
Well, you got to look at my situation in general. Down is my only touring band other than the solo band, and I think I'm going to keep it like that. That way it's simplified. And as far as any other projects or whatever, if they rear their head, I'll consider. But really, once again, with Down, we're made up of 3 different bands within a band. So I Hate God's got their stuff going on right now where they're touring Europe and really about to put out an incredible record. Fucking new I Hate God is excellent. So they're doing their thing, and Crowbar's doing their thing, and Down is gearing up for another writing process. So there is this lapse of time where there's a freedom to do what I feel like doing. So it works out as long as there's this thing called a calendar and this other thing called absolute scheduling, we can get it done.
How hard is it for you to balance everything? It's got to be difficult, like, sometimes.
I can't really judge that because I don't know anything else to do. I don't know what else to do or how to do anything else, really. I might be a fan of something like NFL football. Believe me, I'm gearing up and ready for it, but I don't think I'm prepared to play nose tackle anytime soon. So music's all I know, and that's all I've done since I was 13 years old, really. So as far as the balance of things being hard or whatnot, maybe I'm just not aware of it because I'm in it so much.
So what was the first album you purchased with your own money?
I think Kiss Alive 1 and Cat Scratch Fever both at the same time. So I think so. Something like that.
So do you have any favorite odd jobs that you had along the way that stick out in your mind?
Well, honestly, my first reaction is not at all, but believe it or not, I worked with my stepfather doing commercial fishing, which really was shrimping. You can't do, legally, you can't be a crabber and a shrimper at the same time. So I worked offshore when I was a kid. We'd be out on the Gulf of Mexico for 3 weeks on end, and that was an interesting job because, they hauled these giant nets behind the boat for several hours, dump it out on the deck, and you never know what you're going to get. Like one time we got a 10-foot shark, Sharks die fast. They're like the quickest dying sea life once they get out of the water. They'll twitch and flip for a second, but then they're dead. But when you get a 10-foot one that's still flopping around on the deck, and it's like, stay away until he's sadly dead. But tripped out job nonetheless.
It's strange. I saw this thing on Shark Week the other week, and like the guy had the shark hanging up, and it was like flipped around and like nipped at him and everything when he was like holding up. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, man, that fucking nothing to fuck around with right there at all.
No, I would say so.
No.
So, being that the recording and everything is done in New Orleans, and, I'm a huge fan of the city. It's like one of my favorite places to go. How much does the city itself play a character, even in the creative process? It's such a melting pot of, like, creativity and arts, and yet there's also a lot of anger and things, I feel, like, in that city, too.
Well, New Orleans is unique, and honestly, it's really a tiny city, and there's a lot of, like any city in America right now. There's a lot of crime, a lot of gang violence, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But really, as far as affecting me personally and studio work or anything like that, I don't think there's really any correlation aside from the fact that I was born there. So I know that there's a shitload of talented musicians from New Orleans and great, great, great performers and all of that. And I'm very, very well aware. So, but the city itself, just like music itself, right now, I don't think you can look at any particular city and say, wow, there's this great scene.
Yeah.
Scenes might have died a long time ago, especially with the computer age and whatnot, where I guess the scene is on YouTube or some shit like that, or whatever. Some band's MySpace page or whatever the fuck they have these days. I don't know what it's called. But either way, with all the talent, once again, I think music, I think bands, I think the city, I think scenes in general are in a type of transition right now. I think music's in a great transition because, with all of anything that's extreme, and especially within heavy metal, there's always change. There's always change happening. And out of that change comes a very vibrant and strong expression of music. So I think right now everybody's trying to feel out what is the next way of not being so goddamn traditional and not being so much like another band or a band that you consider yourself a peer to or part of a genre, So once again, I think it's going to be very interesting over the next few years at experimentation and different expressions of music. So we'll see.
Absolutely. I feel like you had a lot of commentary about some of the things that are popping up in the music industry now that we're seeing, or even what's, the current topics or how fans are reacting to music even within the new album.
Yeah, I do. But once again, I don't like to spoon feed the listener too terribly much. And, like you just said it, you picked up on some of the commentary there. But, it's just like someone else might read into it completely different, and that's fine. And I like people to come up with their own, I guess, that's a perfect word. Or their own damn interpretations. Thank you. I'm a little slow today, folks. Just woke up from a nap, trying to get my shit together here. So if any words you want to pop in there to help jog the old fucking brain, much appreciated.
No, I mean, that's the way I mean, kind of what you said. Like, I think music is this universal language, any genre, any type. And I think people, whether they understand the lyrics, even the music itself invokes a certain emotion in people. And I think that they can kind of take and do with that what they want.
They're going to, and they always have. I've said this a million times as well, but it's true. Music's like food. Love it, hate it, or be indifferent to it. Or you get a little bit older, or you grow up, or you experience something more, and you acquire a taste for it. So,
absolutely. So, I mean, you gave people with the video for Bedridden, you gave people kind of a glimpse into it was recorded at the studio, right?
I gave them a glimpse into the jam room where we hash out all the rock, and a glimpse into the bedroom where I lose my mind. So, that's a small glimpse for sure.
That's cool. I like the fact you haven't forgot the art of the music video, because I like that visual element sometimes.
For me, it's like I could take it or leave it, honestly, but we were, I guess, in the last stages of practice for the tour, and it was just kind of like dropped on our heads. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, the camera crews coming out today. They're gonna shoot a video. Yeah, it was like, whoa, okay, let's fucking do it. It was fun and it was easy, and I think that adding that element of humor, even if you look it down, you look at the Witch Tripper video, man, we had a great time doing that because it's fun, ridiculous, and fucking, if you can't learn to laugh at your own fucking ass, then fucking, then life's going to be a lot tougher on you, I'll say that. Have a sense of humor, folks. It'll serve you well.
Yeah, that's very true. So can you talk a little bit, you have the upcoming horror film festival coming up in Austin later in October. Is there any films you're looking forward to seeing showcased there, or any directors you think we should know about?
Well, man, aside from the classics that I'm showing, there's some films that have been submitted over the last 9-10 months by lesser-known directors, and I won't call them amateurs because they're not. They're damn fucking good at what they do, and I don't want to give away too much because they are submissions, and they're going to be shown pretty exclusively. So, once again, I can't give away too much, but really, it's encouraging because I'm the type of dickhead that, I have no aspiration to be a director or a fucking actor at all. I like watching horror films. And with these newer directors out there that really give a flying fuck about horror, and they're trying to, I guess, not, maybe escape the paint by numbers horror, the remake of horror, the found footage bullshit that's just run itself into the ground. They're trying to do something fresh and bring new elements to horror. And for a guy like me, I love it. I love it, and I give them big ups. And so I guess, those films I'm really looking forward to showing to an audience that wants to see new stuff, man, because I think we got some winners, man, some really, really good stuff.
Good. I think it's awesome too that you're kind of providing a platform and a place for a lot of these people that would normally get overlooked by like mainstream Hollywood or whatever, because like it might not sell, as a place for them to show their work and get this stuff out so people can see.
Well, I liken it to underground music. I don't really care for glossy production on anything. Music and film, especially heavy metal music and horror films, have gone hand in hand together. Not just in my life, but with most people, that are into, I guess, the subculture of it all, And as far as mainstream goes, most of the movies, in my opinion, are boring, predictable. Just like mainstream music is boring and fucking predictable and full of plasticity. So, my heart lies in the underground. That's where the pulse beats. And I'm very aware of this. And sharing, turning your buddies on to a new horror film is kind of like turning them on to a new band that you're into. It's like kind of the same. Like, I can't wait to do this shit, So, it's fun, man. It's fun.
So I'm sure with your collection, you definitely have a lot of people coming to you for recommendations.
I do get a lot of, Phil, what the hell can I'm in a haunted house movie mood, got any recommendations? I'm like, oh, God, let me look at the wall for a while and stare at the fucking library. Maybe I'll come up with one. So, and it's surprising, how, there's certain films out there that I've watched countless times, and younger people from the younger generation, I've never even heard of these fucking movies, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And you call yourself a horror fan? Let me choke it for you.
It's great. I mean, even with you talking about a lot of these films kind of having some of the imperfections and using like the old school like recording techniques and everything, I think that's what makes them almost perfectly imperfect, and it works.
Well, I'm also not against new school
Right.
as far as recording as well, if it's done properly. And, there are directors out there, and I'm thinking about the newer batch that I just got through telling you about, sort of. There are touches of CGI here and there, but it's done to where it's not overdone, and it doesn't look like a fucking Scooby-Doo cartoon running across the screen in the middle of a movie. It's like, a lot of the CGI out there is so fucking just... It's an insult. It's an insult to anyone's intelligence out there. But if done right and used properly and prudently to a certain degree, I think they can get away with it and enhance the film or enhance the product. So just got to be sly about your choices.
So, dealing with running a record label and everything, what do you look for in bands that you're going to sign?
I look for bands that are either so absolutely out in left field that are hitting hidden notes, that are playing crazy time signatures or whatever. I love the left field band. But then, there's bands that are definitely part of what I would consider genres or a subgenre that are innovators as well. I love innovation within music. And then, if you're just a damn good fucking band in general that, I guess, lives up to the standards of the roots of a certain genre. Like, look at Warbeast, they're a perfect, in my opinion, DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth, thrash band. And that's what Dallas thrash has always sounded like. So, to me, they're this perfect mold of the DFW sound. So, and they're great players, and they're really good live. But I got my eyeball on about 3-4 bands right now. We've been busy with my release, and I guess pretty stagnant as far as new signings go, right now, because, we are a do-it-yourself label, and there's 3 people that work for the, 3 or 4 people that really work steady for housecore, and it's always a labor of love. And so I would look towards next year for some new bands, and I'll make my move then.
That's cool. So, speaking of subgenres and genres of metal and all that, how do you feel about how many have been created now to try? You think that was like almost put there by media as a way to kind of classify things? I mean, I personally kind of look at it as like it's rock, it's metal,
Well, that's an interesting way to look at it. But, there's no doubt when you listen to a band like, say, Cauldron Black Ram, that to me is a very good, I guess, thinking about their first album, it's a very good blend of what I would say tuned to death metal, but approached vocally very black metal, so it's black death, good cross. But there is, like, it's amazing how much, like when you do a record like Walk Through Exits Only, they are going to try and pigeonhole that motherfucker. And I've heard some hysterical fucking whatever, that we're a mix of this, that, the other, and then they throw the word sludge in there. We're about as sludge as fucking DRI, we're not at all. So I think that they look at me, they look at the profile, they look at New Orleans, they think I Hate God, Crowbar, Down, slow bands. He has to have some fucking sludge in this band, but I don't at all. So quit trying so hard, you fuckers. Just let it be. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I mean, I agree with you there. I mean, I
Fair
just
enough.
think-
Fair enough if you're gonna call it heavy metal.
Yeah, no, I mean that's
get
why
it.
I said it's fucking heavy
enough.
metal. That's what it is. And that's,
No, it's true.
But I know, I mean, there's some things that we get across our desk at work, and they look at us like, okay, where are you going to put this? Or I don't want to categorize it. It's music, you know, and it doesn't matter to me what genre. It
Well,
is.
good for you, lady. Good for you. Hopefully somebody will take her cue, you know, because it does get tiring when someone keeps trying to shove you right into this little perfect slot when the slot is imperfect, and it's very imperfect. The old round peg in the square hole theme all over again. So fucking, you know, whatever, man. They're gonna do it. Let them fucking do it, but let them know also that there's thinkers out there like you and I that are calling their bluff.
Absolutely. Very well said. So, what are some of your goals for the rest of 2013? I know that you maybe 2 new songs for the horror film convention.
Yeah, we got those recorded. We got to mix those two. Once again, they're very, very different than walkthrough exits only, and as it should be. And then in September, next month, I'm figuring to get together with the Down Boys and fucking knock out the new EP. We already have some awesome riffs for that and great material for fucking that, and I'm looking forward to that very much. And then next year we'll see what happens. You know, obviously the Horror Fest in October. Got some book writing to do starting December-ish. And there's already offers coming in for this tour, this show, that show for both bands. So Down and the solo band. So we'll take it as it comes and just keep on working, man.
Like keeping busy, so that's awesome.
Gotta do it, you know. It's like if you wake up and there's an offer, you better jump at it, take fucking control, because no one else is gonna do it for you.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking a few minutes out to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Good interview. Damn good interview.
Thank you.